And so here we are, only one enforcer stands between us and, well, thwarting their plans for good, I suppose, and that is Ren, and we want to be prepared. Ren is the toughest opponent we've ever faced so far, and many players of this game consider this fight that's coming up to be the hardest fight in the game. I personally don't, but I can see why some people consider it that way. So you want to be very prepared. And speaking of not being prepared, I forgot that I found a better bow for Kevin. Doesn't really matter because I don't really use his physical attacks that much anyway. So while I'm here, I can explain that Kevin has the Gladiator belt just so he can be spamming Grail Sphere. Grail Sphere is going to be very helpful in this fight. So the Grail Locket is going to block against Petrify and Deathblow. Tita has the Skull Pendant to protect against Deathblow, and this to prevent against Petrify. Joshua has this to prevent against both of them. Also, mention of the Holy City of Arteria, which is kind of the seat of the Church of, I almost said Seros, no, I've been playing the wrong series. The Church of, the Septian Church, that's the name. Yeah, the main seat of there, and basically the equivalent of the Vatican City to the Trails series. This prevents both Petrification and Death Blows, and he also has the Gladiator Headband, because True Black Fang is going to be very good here. You want to go into this fight with 200 CP on Joshua. And as for Estelle, she has protection against Petrify and Death Blow. I think you can see what status ailments we're going to be dealing with. And I should just mention, this immunity is not a formality, so you should really save before you go into this battle. In terms of orbments, I've rearranged a few things so that Estelle now has La Fort as well as her general setup as a buff bot. Joshua now has Earth Wall because I swapped around Defense 4 and some of the other quads I had and gave him the Ruby Gem as well for a bit more physical attack. Tita also has Earth Wall now thanks to Defense 4, so that might help. Tita's also been set up as a buff bot. It's amazing how you can get Clock Up EX and Clock Down on just about everyone with just Action 4 and a couple of Space Quartz. And Kevin has a similar setup, except that he's switched the Defense 4 to be on this line, so that he also has Earth Wall, and La Crest. La Crest is going to be great here too. So, that's pretty much as prepared as we'll ever be. Oh boy, this is going to be... I'm actually a little nervous for this. Not just for the actual fight, but this is a very heavy moment in the story. We've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. And not to risk killing the mood, but I have checked and I'm pretty sure I do have all the chests in this tower. You should actually have about 394 chests at this point. Ren will always open with her S-Craft. That S-Craft is instant death if you don't have instant death protection. So, yeah. That's a pretty brutal awakening if you go into this fight unprepared. They really wanted to make sure that you were fully ready before they even let you start the fight, basically. If you're really quick with your reflexes, you can actually get Kevin's Grail Sphere in before she uses it, but you've got to be very, very fast. Anyway, so there's Ren herself. Actually has the lowest HP of any Enforcer we've fought in this chapter. I think Blue Blanc actually had the highest, weirdly enough. But don't let that distract you. She is incredibly brutal, as you can see here. She's also accompanied by Vogel 911EX, kind of a fitting name. These things, they can use petrifying rays on you. So I like to spam S-Crafts early on to take out as many of these as I can. I would rather destroy 3 of them than get some damage on a Ren. Also, by the way, appreciate the beauty of this. That's also affected by the Strike Quartz as well. That was why it was getting those crits. Yeah, there's Gorgon Laser. That hits in a line and will inflict petrification on you, so... yeah, this kind of sucks. I really, really want to take out those remaining ones, because Ren herself is no slouch either. This is kind of bad, because Kevin will probably die when she gets her turn next, but... I guess we'll just have to hope and pray that she doesn't do something bad. Okay, there's... And she actually didn't kill Kevin because his defense is pretty solid. But yeah, there's Calamity Throw. That hits in an area. That did not do nearly as much damage as I wanted it to. Oh, great. Ren's going again. This is why I saved up my refresh jellies, by the way. Also... Here's the really, really dark, brutal version of Estelle's Hurricane Craft. Okay, I need to refresh Jelly Kevin right now. And Tita needs to... I can't get Earthwall in time. Right. Do I... Oh, if I could move further... Oh, I can't even get to Kevin with that anyway. I was just thinking that that could be a possibility, but doesn't look like it. Oh, I really would like Joshua to get his S-Craft off. This is guaranteed to heal him. Like, I'm not even getting into, like, my buff setup just yet, because I really want to deal with all of those things first. This is a very chaotic fight, as you can tell, and it's one that's incredibly panic-inducing. By the way, this can also inflict instant death if you're not immune to it. It also knocks you very far away, which, as you can tell, is very bad, because it means that, I am S-Breaking with Joshua now, because it means that, don't need to worry about being blinded, because this always hits. It means that you get out of range of Earthwall and buffs, so, yeah, this fight is a pain, but that should take out all of the, yep, they're all gone, okay. Now I can start to breathe a little bit more easily, but we're still not nearly out of the woods yet. I want to go ahead and use Tear All Bombs now. Okay, now we can safely go for Clock Down on her. Yeah, like, as you can tell, I'm kind of freaking out right now. This fight does make you panic quite a lot, and from what I've heard, on Nightmare, this is generally considered, one of the hardest fights in the entire series. I can't even get to Joshua to heal him, and still has some healing, but not enough. I sort of want to get closer to Joshua right now. Okay, so she's been hit with Clock Down. So now I can probably afford to, okay, yeah, I can get Tyrell in on Joshua, who really needs it right now. The sad fact of bringing Tita to this fight is that she usually goes down quite early and then gets stuck, not revived, because she's really far away from everyone. But, okay, now I can start with the Clock Up EX. Now I can finally start getting a little bit more on track. I do have this, but I doubt she'll stay up low enough to not go down again immediately. Please don't go for Tita. Okay, thank you. Blood Circle sounds like a Castlevania thing. That's really not the thing to be talking about right now, but it kind of does. I can't even use Orbital down on her. Yeah, I'm going to speed up Joshua. Estelle is going to speed up. I suppose I can speed up Tita. Let's get these going. Okay, good. Now Kevin can go for... I don't actually have Orbital down, which is not good, but I can at least heal you. Finally, Tyrell is useful. Okay, let's get you a little closer so I can potentially start using Love Forward and buff you. Although you might just use Blood Circle and knock everyone away again. Yeah. Like, fighting from the edges of the arena can be a decent tactic here, just because it means that you can't be knocked out of range of each other's buffs. Because you'll be at the very edge of the battlefield. But we are at least getting a lot more turns now. So let's go Clock Up EX on you. Okay, good, everyone is buffed. Now, is Tita in range? No, let's go for... Please tell me... Okay, good. Tita is in range if I do that. Everyone is clock upped. I could try... Earth Wall's a little bit not great. I'd rather have Kevin use Earth Wall than have Tita walk into range of it. Speaking of which, yeah, she's going to walk closer just to make sure that I don't get knocked too far away. Yeah, see, if you're right on the edge of the battlefield, Blood Circle isn't going to knock you that far, so you can safely get your buffs in. Okay, now that we're all buffed like this, you actually have... No, you don't even have that, do you? We're fine for Clock Down right now. Let's just focus on... Yeah, let's go for Cyclone Napalm. I probably should have brought Orbital down, but... I think I'm getting a little more on track, but... Even then, her HP is still fairly high, and you can't chain yet. Okay, I have La Fort up. Guess I'll just go for this. Okay, she's starting to lose health a little more. The problem is now Kevin is very out of Grail Sphere range, so that's not good. Okay, she's getting down to half, and that's also bad, because she could quite easily S-craft again if I'm not careful. Thankfully, most of us are Earth... There it is! So, yeah, as I said, bosses do have hidden CP values, so they can't just S-craft, like, again immediately, but at least Kevin was out of range of that. Guess I can see how much Spiral Flare does. Actually, not nearly enough to be worth it. She is a bit of a glass cannon, so Chaincrafts do tend to hit her pretty hard. In fact, we should actually be done with this. Yeah. Oh, going for that again. Oh, you... I was hoping to finish it right there, but then you had to go and do that. Let's just revive you, so that you don't miss the experience. And... Estelle, you take this one. So yeah, I actually did that on the first try, but that is not a fight you want to take lightly. You can probably tell why that one is brutal. I do love the fact that she actually, like, knocks you away from each other so that you can't use AoE buffs effectively. I think that's a really interesting strategy for a boss in this type of game. Yes, we do indeed have one more fight to go through after all of that. we're facing Patamata. It's immune to clock down, so don't worry about debuffing it. Just focus on buffing yourselves here. Let's get that buff up on Kevin. Let's set up La Fort. And get Clock Up EX going. Oh, and, well, this will be a good way to start things. So, despite Patamata's intimidating size and appearance, and this is also a fight where rotating the camera may actually be beneficial, it really only has 2 attacks. So, it's not actually that threatening. It's just kind of a wall of HP. But oh, it's still hard going into this after that backstory, so Estelle really has her work cut out for her now. I don't know how many of you caught on to the implications of what Ren was saying there in her backstory, but Ren's backstory is absolutely just disgusting and horrifying, and it's something that I don't even want to try and go into, but you might be able to... It's only vaguely implied, but it's definitely... It's definitely one of the most horrifying backstories I've seen in the game, I'll just say. And now we can fully see why she's so happy with Ouroboros, because the people that she was with beforehand, being rescued by Ouroboros, like, Ouroboros would have looked like saints in comparison. And that's why, like, she was totally willing to let them take her in and be her new family, because nothing could be worse than what she previously experienced, and that is why this is so hard, because she's doing really awful things, and the society is messing her up and in a lot of ways just using her, but you can't deny that what they rescued her from was far worse, so... As I said, Estelle has her work cut out for her. But something that I can actually go into here that is a bit of an interesting point about this game. It's that Ren's backstory was actually very heavily censored in most of this game's Japanese, and I mean Japanese, console re-releases. I could get Kevin to run closer and actually, get everyone in that earth wall. That's what I'll probably do. Oh yeah, that's the other reason why I don't like rotating the camera. It actually completely messes up, like, the directional buttons that I'm pressing now, all of that is actually assuming that, the camera is facing the right way. So, yeah, that's also really awkward, but anyway, back to what I was saying. So, Ren's backstory was actually censored in all of this game's Japanese console re-releases, like the Evolution versions. The English localization is based on the original Japanese PC script, so we get the uncensored version. I feel like the reason for this is that Japanese ratings for console games are a lot stricter than they are for PC games. You can get away with a lot more in PC games, I'll just say, so that's probably why. But yeah, a lot of people think, oh, you know, Western games just censor everything, but no, censorship is in Japanese games too. And it's part of the reason why, like, some people, when they saw my screenshot of the cover art of the Evolution versions of Trails in the Sky, let's just say that Trails in the Sky the Third actually does go into Ren's backstory in a bit more detail, and a lot of people were very, very surprised that that game got a CRO... Is that, yeah, the Japanese rating C? when... Actually, no, I think it got a B rating compared to the C rating that Trails in the Sky SC got. And the reason for that is that the backstory elements revealed in Trails in the Sky the Third, I believe in the console re-release of it, were in fact censored in the Japanese version. And I think there actually is, like, the censored version was also localized and is in the game, but we also have the uncensored version, which is the default. But, yeah. I said this game goes into some very dark territory, and thankfully nothing is ever directly shown. It's only heavily implied, but what's implied in Ren's backstory, you can see why she's so messed up, and it's also why, like, that line about her delighting so much in the suffering of others, like, originally you think of, like, you know, how awful, but, and it still is awful, but the reason why she does it is it's the only way to numb herself to her own suffering. It's the only way she can sleep at night, like she said. There's Patamata's effectively S-Craft, even though I don't think it really counts as an S-Craft. But yeah, despite that, like, overall, Patamata is really just a big wall of HP that's not that big of a threat if you just remember to Earthwall everyone. It's really slow and doesn't have a lot of attacks, so not too hard to beat overall. Definitely qualifies as a breather after the fight beforehand, which was way worse. But it's over. Saved by the gospel, I guess. Well, we won the battle, but maybe they bought themselves enough time. And we still weren't able to get through to Ren. We definitely deserve a break after all this. was that thing about the hands of the Oriole? Yeah, we are kind of out of leads right now. We're not really sure what's going on. Maybe he has some inkling. Oh, great, he's learned how to hijack our signals. Of course he has! Is this the first time many of the others are actually seeing him, though? Yeah, relatively new concept for this universe.